The day Muna's mother arrived was the first time in weeks that the house felt warm again. She came unannounced, stepping out of a kiki with a bag of yam, a wrapper tied around her waist, and that look only a mother carried, one that saw everything before a word was spoken. Mama. Muna blinked, surprised, standing at the gate. Her mother smiled, holding out her arms. You think I won't come when my daughter's tears reach me all the way in Udi? Muna burst into tears and ran into her embrace. Mama settled quickly into the house like she had never left. By evening, the air smelled of fresh ogbono soup and palm oil, and Somto was dancing around her grandmother, excited. But Mama had not come to cook. That night, after Somto had gone to bed, she called Muna to sit with her in the parlor. Muem, she began, using her pet name for Muna, tell me everything. Muna hesitated. Then the dam broke. She told her mother everything. Ibuka's betrayal, the second marriage, Chidinma, the fake loans in her name, the silence, the pain, the fear. Mama listened, nodding slowly, never interrupting. Only her eyes changed, hardening with each revelation. When Muna finished, her mother sighed deeply. I warned you about this man. Muna looked down. I know. But you loved him. And you were faithful. And you tried. Tears slipped down Muna's face. Was it not enough, Mama? Her mother took her hand. Love is not a reward. It is a gift. And when someone abuses it, they don't destroy the gift, they reveal who they truly are. Muna looked into her mother's eyes. I don't know what to do anymore. Mama leaned in. You will do what every strong woman does. You will rise. You will protect your name. You will heal. And you will not carry shame for another person's foolishness. The next morning, Mama rose early and prepared bitter leaf water. As she poured it into a cup, she said, drink this. It will clean your stomach. Muna made a face. Mama, I'm not sick. Mama smiled. It's not for your body. It's for your spirit. You've swallowed too many lies. Let it out. Muna drank, wincing at the bitter taste. But something in her felt lighter. Later, Mama sat with Somto under the mango tree while Muna folded laundry. Mommy, Somto asked innocently, is Daddy a bad person? Mama smiled gently. No, NWAM. But sometimes good people do bad things. And when they do, it's not your fault. Somto nodded and returned to coloring. That evening, Ibuka returned home and found Mama seated in the living room. She looked up at him with the full weight of her generation in her gaze. You have a strong wife, she said. Ibuka lowered his eyes. Yes, Ma. You took her for granted. I know. You forgot her worth. I regret it. Mama stood slowly and faced him. Regret is a feeling. Change is an action. Until your actions match your words, you are nothing but a disappointment in a fine wrapper. He nodded silently. Then Mama turned to Muna, who stood quietly behind him. My daughter, she said, the time is near. You will know what to do. But whatever you choose, let it not come from fear. Let it come from strength. Muna's eyes welled with tears again, but this time, not from pain. From clarity. Her mother had reminded her of who she was. That night, Muna lit a candle and wrote in her journal. My mother didn't just raise me. She built me from stories, from fire, from wisdom. And now, I remember, I am not just somebody's wife. I am somebody's daughter. The winds of reckoning don't always come with thunder. Sometimes, they arrive quietly, through a phone call, a sudden knock, or a moment of unexpected silence. For Ibuka, it began with a call from his bank. Sir, your loan repayment is overdue. We've attempted to reach your guarantor, Mrs. Amarochi Noji, but she has requested legal protection. You're now solely liable. His throat dried. He stuttered, I just need a little more time. But the voice on the other end was clear. We've started recovery proceedings. You may lose the land. He hung up and stared into space. The land. The same land he had shown Chidinma. The same one he bought to impress her family. Now it was gone. Chidinma hadn't been seen in over a week. She had stopped returning his calls. The boutique was always closed for renovation. Rumor had it she had traveled to Abuja with someone important. Ibuka began pacing the house like a man haunted by shadows. His steps echoed in empty rooms. The woman he betrayed his wife for had vanished, and the woman who stayed no longer spoke to him like a husband. One night, he knocked on Mona's bedroom door. She opened it, arms folded. "I need to talk to you." She said nothing, only stepped aside. He stood in the middle of the room, hands shaking slightly. "She left," he said. "Chidinma. She took money from the boutique account. Emptied it. She's gone." Mona raised an eyebrow. "And I should care, why?" His voice cracked. I needed to say it." She sat on the edge of the bed, crossing her legs. "So you destroyed your family, for a woman who disappeared when you ran out of money?" He flinched. "She was using me," he admitted. Mona scoffed. "And you were using me? So I suppose we're even." He looked at her. "You're not the same." She tilted her head. "You're right. I'm not." There was a long pause. The only sound was the ticking wall clock. "Mona, I've lost everything." "No," she said gently. "Now you're just beginning to feel what loss looks like." The next day, a court letter arrived. Mona's lawyer had filed a fraud complaint to formally separate her name from the forged loan agreements. Ibuka stared at the envelope in disbelief. That same afternoon, his car was seized outside his office. His business partner called. "I can't cover for you anymore, Ibuka. The damage is too deep." By nightfall, he was a man surrounded by the consequences of his own choices: no mistress, no money, no reputation. Only silence. And the woman who once loved him no longer even raised her voice at him. That, somehow, hurt more. Meanwhile, Mona sat in her classroom, grading assignments. A parent stopped by after class. "Mrs. Noji, I heard you're offering home tutoring. I'd love you to work with my twins. They adore you." Mona smiled. "I'd be honored." Her business was growing. Her confidence had bloomed. The village had stopped whispering. Now, they watched her in admiration. Because while the storm had drowned Ibuka, Mona had learned to dance in the rain. That night, as the wind howled outside, Mona lay in bed beside Somto. Her daughter turned and whispered, "Mommy, are we going to be okay?" Mona kissed her forehead. "We already are." It was a Sunday morning unlike any other. For the first time in what felt like forever, Mona woke up not with the weight of pain on her chest, but with peace. Sunlight streamed gently through the curtains. Outside, birds chirped, the scent of fried plantain drifted through the house, and Somto giggled in the kitchen as she helped her grandmother slice tomatoes. Mona sat up, stretching. Her body still ached in places, but her heart felt light. A part of her knew this day would be different. Something was shifting. The storm had passed, and now, something new waited on the horizon. Downstairs, Ibuka stood on the veranda, looking out at the compound. He looked older, softer. The arrogance had melted from his features. He was no longer the man who walked with entitlement. He had been broken and humbled, and in that breaking, something sacred had been born. He turned as Mona stepped out. She wore a soft blue wrapper and white blouse. Her hair was tied back neatly, face fresh. No makeup, no perfume. Just her, present and powerful. "Mona," he said quietly. She nodded. "Good morning." There was a pause. Then he said, "I'm making progress on repaying the loan. I spoke to the bank. Your name is being cleared." She nodded again. "Thank you." He fidgeted. "I'm not saying this to win points. I want to be a better man. Not for show. Not because I lost everything. But because I finally see what I almost destroyed. Her eyes softened, but she remained silent. I don't deserve your forgiveness, he added. But I hope someday, maybe, you'll find peace in giving it. Muna looked at him for a long time. You hurt me, Ibuka, she said softly. In ways you never fully understand. You broke trust, not just once, but again and again. He nodded, swallowing. But, she continued, I realized something in all this. You didn't just break me. You gave me a reason to rebuild myself. And in that rebuilding, I found strength I never knew I had. A breeze passed between them. I forgive you, she said. His eyes widened, glistening. You do? Yes. Because I want my daughter to see that love can survive, even after mistakes. I want her to know that grace is not weakness. Tears slipped from his eyes as he stepped forward slowly. Can I hug you? He whispered. She nodded. He wrapped his arms around her gently, like he was holding something holy. And for the first time in months, Muna allowed herself to rest, truly rest, against him. That afternoon, the house felt like a home again. Mama sat in the living room telling stories from her youth while Somto plaited her hair. Laughter filled the corners. The TV played old Nollywood movies, and the air smelled of jollof rice and fried meat. Ibuka set the table, occasionally sneaking glances at Muna like a man who couldn't believe he'd been given a second chance. At dinner, Mama lifted her cup of zobo. To love that lends. To pain that teaches. To daughters who rise. They all clinked glasses. Over the following weeks, things continued to heal. Ibuka reopened his business, smaller, leaner, more honest. He worked twice as hard, and this time, not to impress anyone, but to rebuild what mattered. He and Muna started attending couples counseling at church. It wasn't easy. There were hard questions. Deep silences. But there was also growth. Muna returned to her classroom with renewed joy. Her tutoring business flourished. Other women began seeking her out for guidance, and she never hesitated to share her story, not as a tale of pain, but as proof that broken things can bloom. One evening, as they walked through the market hand in hand, a woman whispered loudly, "Is that not the woman whose husband married another?" Muna turned and smiled. Yes. And he came back home. They walked on, unbothered, stronger than whispers, wiser than before. On the evening of their 7th wedding anniversary, Ibuka surprised her. He decorated the backyard with fairy lights and set up a small dinner table with candles. Muna, he said as she stepped outside, stunned, I know we can't rewrite our past, but I want to rewrite our future, with you. He went down on one knee and opened a box. A simple gold ring. I choose you. Again. Forever. Tears filled her eyes. She nodded. And for the first time in a long, long time, she said yes. Sometimes, love breaks. But if both hearts are willing, it can also heal. This isn't just a story of betrayal, it's a story of becoming. Of remembering. Of forgiveness. Because in the end, Muna didn't just find her strength. She found her way back to love. And this time, love stayed.